Mayor, Congressmen, ladies and gentlemen, my first thought was that it's not fair. Put me directly behind two professional politicians, and that is the only non-native English speaker in the room. So my first thought was perhaps I should start in German, because it's easier for me to talk in German about the challenges, but also about the opportunities of offshore wind in the United States and worldwide. But then I remembered when I now try to speak in German for at least 3 hours about this topic. Most of you, I think, have an appointment at 8 o'clock and see the Boston Red Sox will go up 2-0 in the World Series. And so I will try to make some remarks in English, talk a little bit about the city of Bremerhaven, because you can compare the city of Bremerhaven with around 115,000 people living there, and the history we had in offshore wind business to New Bedford. Especially the city-state of Bremen have only two cities, the city of Bremerhaven and the city of Bremen. And the people in Bremerhaven thinks a little bit about the people in Bremen, like you, I think, often talks about the people in Boston and what happened in Boston. And so there is a lot of similarity situations. In the history of Bremerhaven, we have real tough times between 1975 and 2000. At first, we have the going down situation of the shipbuilding industry in the late 70s and early 80s. And then we have a special situation. We also have a rich history of fishing in Bremerhaven, but in the mid-80s we have some problems with our fish and with the quality of our fish. And so there was a situation that for 2 or 3 years the quality was really bad and the people stopped eating fish in Germany. And then we have the situation of the breakdown of the fishing industry. And the third one was a real good message. We have the lift of the steel curtain in '89 and the reunification of Germany, but near Bremerhaven was a very large division of the United States Army from Fort Hood, Texas, a forward division, with 3,500 jobs there. And after the end of the Cold War, nobody needs this US Army anymore in Germany. And so they shut down the barracks near Bremerhaven and near Bremen. And at this situation, we have had an unemployment rate of 28% in Bremerhaven at the year 2000. And then we have to act. I was a member of state parliament at that time and was one of the coalition leaders, and we discovered the topic at first of wind energy in Germany, and then in 2002 the opportunities of offshore wind. And we're starting to work on this topic and try to convince people to step into the race. But in 2001, 2002, it was very difficult to get support for it, especially on the federal level. We have a situation till 2005 where on federal level, nothing going really on. And they talk about it's too expensive to invest in offshore wind energy. And I think in Bremerhaven, we hold to this topic. From 2002 to 2005, despite the strong winds we have against offshore wind on the federal level. We could support it by the state money we have, but it was very difficult. So you see, from the first thinking about offshore wind in Bremerhaven in 2002 till the situation today, it's a long period. And in 2005 we founded the German Offshore Foundation, and it was a luckily situation for me, because a minister from the Green Party, a federal minister, asked me as a member of the more conservative party in Germany to being the president of this German Offshore Foundation. And then we founded Alpha Ventus, which was the first test field in Germany, to find solutions, especially for logistical challenges we had, and it was a right step. So that's always when I talk in the United States about offshore wind, I said it's also very important to make step by step into the right direction. When you see the results today in Bremerhaven, with a lot of talks, we have founded new companies there. We have 2 builders of nacelles, Repower and Areva Wind. Areva Wind is now a large French company, but when we bring it to Bremerhaven, it was a small company called Multibrit. It was German technology. And even when you go back to the Siemens production site in Denmark, Siemens bought some years ago Bonus. And Bonus has a title RN Bonus. And RN was a production plant in Bremen, Germany. So even when you go back to the roots of the windmills from Siemens, you see the roots in the Bremen and Bremerhaven area. So we have Weserwind as a very important foundation structure builder in Bremerhaven. We have Power Blades as a very important builder of blades for the new offshore topic. So over the period of 10 years, we had 4,000 new direct jobs in a city which have 115,000 people living there. And that's a real success. That's a real success. We have now an unemployment rate of between 12 and 14%. That only 45% of the 26 to 28% we have around the turn of the century. And it gave also the city of Bremerhaven a totally new confident situation. In 2000, when you talk about the city of Bremerhaven, it's a little bit like we talking now in the European Union about the people from Greece. And that changed totally over the last 10 years. And when you see the investment opportunities right now in the German zone, in the German waters, right now we have 10 wind parks under construction in the North Sea and in the Baltic Sea. That is a total investment of 15 billion euros. We expected in the German Sea investments of around 75 billion euros till the year 2030. In the whole European waters, we're going to expect a total investment of around 300 billion euros. So we're talking about a lot of money coming into the region of our shoreline. And that will create more jobs. And this is the important topic when you talk publicly. And then I'm going to start touring the United States the last 3 or 4 years, especially also on the offshore topic. And when I discovered here the city of New Bedford, that remembers me from the first moment, remembers me on the situation we had in Bremerhaven 8 or 10 years ago. You have, which is very important, a mayor who is strongly supporting the offshore wind topic. But you have also a lot of people here from other economic issues who are supporting the offshore wind, because you know that this is added value to your history of fishing and to the chances of tourism in this area. It's added value. It's not against the fishing industry or against the tourism. It's more chances for a region in you live. You have other important people. Matt, they thank you already 10 times this evening, so I don't want to do it the 11th time. But it's very important that you have people like Matt working on a daily basis on this topic of wind energy. And so I think it was the right move to install your new wind energy center to bring more movement into your region and also into the city of New Bedford. You already got support from the state of Massachusetts. You call it the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, so sorry, from the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. This is very important too, because it is a lot of investment money and it could not be handled by a city alone. So I think what the Commonwealth of Massachusetts done with this offshore terminal is a very important step. There are a lot of chances now in front of your coastline. I hope that the Cape Wind project will start as soon as possible. I think they are still waiting on 2 court decisions, but after that, but there are a lot of more possibilities when you're looking in front of your coastline, but not only in your coastline, also on the coastline of Rhode Island and also on the coastline of Connecticut or other states. And I think that would be the next step. If European companies see that you have a project pipeline in this country, then they will come to the United States and put production facilities into the United States. Then they don't bring over the nacelles from Brande in Denmark or from other places in Germany. When you have a project pipeline, I'm very sure that you then have the success of creating jobs in the production industry of offshore wind. And also the situation reminds me here, when I take a look on the federal level, there is always a debate going what is the right way in energy politics. But I could tell you, we had the same strange discussions in Germany going on 15 years ago, and we still had it today. You cannot compare the prices on new windmills or onshore or offshore to power plants who are 40 years old and the production price of that. You have to compare new ones to new ones. And I can tell you, when you compare it in Germany, it's even cheaper to have the power from onshore or offshore windmills than to build a new nuclear plant. That was the reason why the German energy politics and the Chancellor Merkel said, we want to get rid of the nuclear plants because we cannot afford the costs, the total costs of nuclear power. Because we just tear down a nuclear plant in the former eastern parts of Germany. They're already working on this topic 20 years, and they will work another 40 years just to get rid of this stuff. And when you see that the period is 60 years, is all paid by the taxpayers in Germany, that is a total cost, a total economical cost. And so you have to compare new one to new one, and there the renewable situation is quite good when you compare to new coal plants or new gas plants. You have a special situation in the states called fracking, I know that, but this is also a big environmental impact you have on the fracking situation, and I think that this situation will also start here. So I don't want to talk too much about the energy politics of Germany and the United States, but when I discovered the New Bedford area, I was still remembered the situation we had in Bremerhaven 8 years ago. And I think when we take a look in the future of this, in 8 years, then you really have the chance that you have a lot of new jobs here. You really have the chance to have some production facilities in this area. And this is very important to bring the unemployment rate down and to make the right move. And then you don't work only on the job creation topic, you also work to have greener energy, and I think that's the best thing we want for the next generation. So I'm very confident that you make the right moves over the last 3 years, looking forward that you will make the right decisions and the right moves within the next 10 years, and then you have a bright future. Thank you very much for the opportunity to talk here, and I hope that you understand the most of my speech, otherwise I will stand here and ask questions. Thank you very much.